So I finally caught up to the manga that goes by the name Tenkaichi and all these other things. I first got into this series and read the first 3 or 4 chapters a few months back, and I've talked about it in a few recommendation videos. But over the past day, I've finally caught up to the manga, read the first 12 chapters that have been translated, and also checked out chapter 13 for the Raws. And that concluded the first 2 fights, again of course a tournament manga. And let me just tell you, Tenkaichi is absolute fire and pretty much shocked me quite a bit. Let's talk about it. If you're new to this channel, I make regular videos on fighting anime and manga, so if you enjoy that type of thing, make sure to subscribe and of course leave a like if you're a Tenkaichi fan. I may make it a regular on this channel if you want me to do that. I'm more than welcome to, because you know, the second fight was some absolute fire and I'm very excited to see where the story goes. So a brief outline can be summed up like this. This old man by the name of Oda is like the ruler of Japan or whatever. He's going to die soon, as such someone is going to take his position. He doesn't care about his loyal men or even his sons. He's more interested in the strongest person in Japan taking his spot, while also being pretty insane, just wanting to see a bloodbath in of course a tournament format, because you know, tournament manga is the new thing that's spawning every other month at this point. So let's talk about it. The first fight is between Musashi Miyamoto, everyone knows who that is, and this guy by the name of Honda. And this is the actual bracket of the tournament. 16 of the strongest martial artist fighters in all Japan are here. As I mentioned before, 12 chapters have been translated, and that concluded the second fight on chapter 12. And then in the Raws for chapter 13, from what I can tell, that is introducing the next 2 fights, which is going to be pretty cool. So the first fight was fairly solid, just introducing the series and what it's going to provide, with these very intense and quite a bit of double page spread panels throughout these 12 chapters. Very surprised about that, with them having very solid art in the way they portray speed and power. Like, the impact of panels like this is just pretty cool. The character of Musashi was pretty interesting. He started out by only using a wooden sword in the fight, with it getting revealed via backstory. We do get little backstories for the various characters. I would say it's pretty similar to Record Ragnarok in the way they handle backstories. It's a little glimpse into their past and who they are and how they became legends in their own right, as all these people are pretty much notorious around Japan already, but they're varying in degrees in how much legend is actually associated with them, as Musashi currently is only 16 years old in the Tenkaichi manga, so his legend isn't as powerful as someone like Honda, who's like this military general who has never been cut before, of course until his fight with Musashi. So a main appeal of this fight was Musashi unleashing more of his hidden power, pretty much unleashing his potential. So started out with a wooden sword, then finally pulled out a real sword, then I was able to cut Honda, which allowed Honda to unleash his full power for the first time in his life, as he's been uncut in all his battles, pretty much too strong to be around. The idea of boredom was kind of portrayed a little bit, similar to like 4 vs Lubu in Record of Ragnarok, as Musashi became too skilled at a young age. He kind of had given up on progressively getting stronger, as no one could already challenge him, until this fight where unleashed his true potential and he was able to get stronger and stronger as the fight continued, while the likes of Honda was just releasing more of his power that he always had, just previously never having a reason or being pushed hard enough to actually use his full power, with his limits not even being known to himself. As the fight progressed, again Musashi got stronger and stronger, and then he eventually pulled out his dual wielding blade, which is his pretty much strongest moveset, with panels like this showing how intense, and the fights are very fast paced. Yes, there is talking in between, but when the fights actually get going, when they're facing one another, it is pretty cool. But in the end, Musashi was able to overcome Honda and naturally defeat him. But Honda doesn't go out like a, you know, beta man. All the characters in the series so far are quite chatly. He defends one of his close friends, tanks all his boards, and yeah, his ending is pretty solid. But it's also good to take note, Musashi could have easily been defeated in this fight. This is because Honda decided to go all in rather than lose one of his arms to actually take out Musashi, as his idea is pretty much all or nothing. If he was to lose one of his arms and progress further in the tournament, it's more likely that he would actually lose, so he would rather try and win in good condition or at full power than injure himself severely and actually get taken out. So yeah, Musashi takes the first win. Kinda expected. As soon as I saw that Musashi was going to be the first fighter, I was like, oh yeah, he's going to win, but it was a fairly decent fight, and it's also portrayed that he's going to get stronger and stronger as the tournament goes on with this panel here. The true monstrous nature of Musashi will be revealed in round 2, which we actually know who he's going to fight, as this second fight actually reveals who his opponent's going to be, the winner of that one. So the second fight is between this old man who's actually blind, very skilled, and the Fuma Empress, like part of this ninja clan or whatever. Actual female characters in the story, and you know, extra thick and muscly at that, which is pretty cool. I believe she is currently like the fan favorite character, and that is for a pretty obvious reason. So her fighting ability is with this ranged like weapon, but more so her physical abilities like strength and speed, while the blind man is a swordsman who can actually see better than people who have eyes due to his insane hearing ability. Of course, during this fight he gets deafened by Fuma, then he uses his insane other sensing abilities like his smell, and like this demonic power called Zen. There's a lot of demonic elements and kinda supernatural elements used throughout this fight, which is pretty cool. It may just be visual representation, but the panels do look pretty sick, with this power connecting to his backstory where I believe his son or grandson died or something relating to him, and he lost his eyes in like this great war and everything like that, and then became like this monster training in the woods and such. While Fuma's power actually came from her past as well. Pretty tragic backstories for both of them, and how she's kinda drugged up during this fight to gain godlike power. Again, panels like this showing the speed and sheer power of the characters is definitely a highlight of this manga. The characters as well show how insane they are. When the characters go all out, this all loose, no fear, and stuff like this is absolutely legendary. Yes, the art is very rough at times, but it does make it very appealing. I wasn't sure who was going to win this fight, as the old man was very chatty, much stronger than what I was expecting, and Fuma was absolutely godly. But in the end, Fuma was able to acquire victory, but it was extremely close, and the final panels of Fuma actually taking out the old man by like punching him through, grabbing his heart and squeezing it, crushing it and all that, while his face was like this, was just honestly next level. And yeah, that was pretty much my experience reading the first 12 chapters. Very excited for the third round, as one of the fighters has been commentating quite a bit on the previous matches, so that's going to be pretty cool, and I believe he actually is related to the old man running the tournament. So yeah, that's everything for today's video. Hopefully you check out Tenkaichi. If you need chapter links, they should be in the Discord. I'm going to be making a dedicated chat for that shortly. Check out all the other stuff in the description, and as always, shout out to these absolute mad lads who support the channel via the Patreon, and Fuma best character.